So today for notes, we're doing rational expressions multiplication. So when you have rational expressions, basically you still need to remember that's another word for fractions with polynomials. And so it's important to remember that when you work with fractions and are multiplying fractions, the rule applies that you multiply your numerators and multiply your denominators together. So this is going to happen still with rational expressions. There might be a few steps that we'll do ahead of time, but that's our initial goal. When you multiply with rational expressions, you just multiply the numerators together and multiply the denominators together. So let's look at our example. So here is 1. Now obviously if we were going to try to multiply this together, just our numerators and our denominators would get huge polynomials, and then we'd end up with a lot of other type of factoring. So we're going to actually simplify this first before we multiply. And so first you do that by finding the factors. And so when we find the factors, you're just going to factor the trinomial using the standard procedures. Once we factor, then we can simplify. So feel free to pause the video as needed to be able to copy these down. And so you're looking for your unit fractions or fractions equal to 1, etc., etc. And you're going to simplify those out. And so what you're left with, you're going to multiply together. Numerator to numerator, denominator to denominator. Since we have this, we can then do our last step, which is to simplify. And that will thus also be our answer. In terms of having what's referred to as excluded values, you can come back up here and say, well, that is given that x doesn't equal, set are equal to zeros, -2, or -3. Because any time that x happens to be -2 or -3, that would make this one or this one equal to 0, and a 0 in the denominator, well, that's undefined. Okay, well, that is multiplying with rational expressions. I hope this helped.